Hello, this is Peter Bell, and I'm here with Mr. Morgan Good. Hello, Morgan.
Hello, Peter. How are you today?
Wonderful, thanks. November 18th, 2018. Things are happening at Delrey Metals. Under a month of trading, I gather.
Yes, that's right, Peter. We went public about 3 or 4 weeks ago on the CSE under the ticker DLRY.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And so, looking at what is coming ahead, always important, but many people seem to want to know what's come before. So specifically for you, I wonder, last year or so, what have you been up to?
Well, if I take it back 2 or 3 years, I spent about 2 to 3 years at that time financing and developing a few companies in the Windfall Lake area of Quebec, which was quite successful. And more recently, I moved on to the cannabis space, where I've helped raise about $20 million for an investment issuer called Green Access Capital Corp, which has been a pretty fun ride. But I felt the strategic energy metals sector coming to life over the past 6 months, which is why Delrey has come to fruition.
Wow. Well, energy metals, there seems to be, I've said, a rolling bull market. Thinking back even 10 years, go back to the graphite, there was talk about the electrification, the big trends that were coming there, and closer every day. And BC, I gather, for the projects for this company?
To date, we've made one acquisition on the Sunset project, which is just north of Whistler in British Columbia. Its focus is cobalt, zinc, copper, of which we've just completed our first work program on. News imminent, hopefully this upcoming week. Subsequent to that, we're obviously looking quite aggressively at various other acquisitions, including Canada and other parts of the world, also in the energy metals sector.
Wonderful. Good for you. We'll be paying attention to see the people involved, in the field work. There's quite a community in the minerals exploration business here in BC, and I gather you've been able to rally some support from some bulls.
Yeah, I think that's to put it quite politely. Thank you, Peter. Obviously, we've got a pretty strong team, including the likes of Mr. Mike Blady, who joined the board with myself and a few others. And obviously, he's had recent success on another company in the Golden Triangle named Golden Ridge Resources, ticker GLDN, which I'm sure many of your listeners are aware of.
Wonderful. And you yourself, for Delrey, President and CEO?
Yes, sir. President, CEO, and Director.
Great. And can I ask Chairman of the board?
To be determined. For now, I will be Chairman, but we're always looking for someone of a higher stature or an important stature that can certainly help out in that role.
Yeah. Well, and there, again, speaking of the bulls in the community, some of these people who have that experience really like to be able to come into a situation like that where they can add a little that it might just take it over the line.
Absolutely. We're always looking for new blood, not just on the investment side, but management side. And I think that capturing the right individual that's got certain experience and success is going to be the fun part here in the early stages for Delrey.
Yes. And, everyone always wants things to be perfect and organized, all lined up before the launch. I would suspect some people might. But when the plane is hurtling down the runway, continuing to piece it together, that's, the more time I spend around these companies in junior mining, the more impressed I am anything ever gets done.
Well, I think you nailed an important word there, which is being organized, Peter. And I think one of the attributes, particularly strong attributes for Delrey, is its cap structure, which is extremely organized. We took a bit of an old school approach and asked 2 broker-dealers to basically warehouse more than 90% of the stock on their books. So I think that helps maintain a very organized cap structure, and it allows you to really utilize your progress and development going forward, regardless of what kind of results you may or may not receive from your field work.
Well, and support in the secondary market, just how important that is. These stocks sometimes get orphaned, and it can be very sad to see somebody suffering in the secondary market when you know that work commitments in the future are outstanding, right? There's more money going to have to be raised and spent, and to keep things together in the secondary market and the funding markets as well, all that is just essential to a safe, reducing some of the risk in this, what is a very risky business.
I think that's an absolutely fantastic point. One of the problems with so many of these junior companies is a lack of a secondary market, and we're certainly not going to have that with Delray. We've got certainly enough cash in the bank today, and with our network of investors and potential new investors surrounding us, I think that utilizing the ability to raise more capital is actually going to be rather efficient.
Yeah. Well, and a whole variety of deals out there to be made, all different ways. We'll be paying attention to see what comes down the pipe from you guys in terms of deal generation.
No question at all. We've got several things on our plate today that we've been evaluating for the previous weeks and months. Hopefully something will materialize very soon, before Christmas, ideally. I know people tend to think it slows down a bit at Christmas, but at Delray we plan to power through the holidays and work extremely hard.
Good for you. That's what the investors want. You know, it's amazing to watch them as I do, and to see how hard some of them work, following these many different stories out there and trying to keep track of them all and play them against each other, figure out who's moving what, where, when, and to hear, you know, that same set of hunger from a management team, very important.
There's no rest for the wicked, as they say. Is that right, Peter?
And can I ask, electric metals, again, this is such a big trend. There's still space for, you know, new entrants, new exploration projects?
No question. I think that you know, certain metals within that sector have been around for a long time. Well, obviously they all have, but the interest levels in some of which have certainly increased of late, particularly those in recent years in lithium, cobalt, and more recently vanadium. I think that with my background being focused in the capital markets side of the business and finance, I'd like to utilize the energy of certain areas in the resource space to find assets that help create shareholder value, so we can create higher prices, higher liquidity, and higher valuations for all of our companies and all of our shareholders.
Yeah, and kudos to you for being somewhat in a small cohort. I haven't seen too many energy metal companies launched in recent months, which is good. I would be concerned if there was a slew of new copper projects. Say, you know, the timelines on these things. It's so complicated, right?
Well, sometimes it's nice to not have a whole lot of competition, but of course I think there's probably a lot of people out there cooking things up, and certainly every day, week, month as we press on, you're going to see new issuers come to the market.
Yep. And competitive position, is there anything, you know, I guess it comes back to management and the foundations of the stock and the company. That's to some degree the moat that you can create for yourself in the race that you're, you know, against these others.
There's no question that management is number one. I think it's up there as importantly with structure. You know, without those two working in tandem and being as basically as bulletproof as possible, regardless of how successful your field work might be on one of your projects, you're going to be handicapped in seeing maximum you know, upside if your management people and as well as the cap structure are not in tune.
Yeah, well, and vice versa as well. And to that, confident that you do have a good field team.
No question at all. Mr. Blady's team, whom works with obviously Golden Ridge, as I mentioned, and the rest of his crew at Ridgeline Exploration out of Kelowna, are really beating the drum, particularly in Western Canada. And I think there's no question and no doubt at all that they've got the expertise and experience and people to succeed in anything that they set forth on.
Yeah, and no disasters there, really, it would seem, from this last season. From my perspective, you know, the expectations can get set very, very high for these mineral explorations companies, and to the point where it's impossible to live up to them. And I watched the Golden Ridge story fairly closely there from a distance, and I didn't see anything that I, you know, felt like was going to cause problems for the next season, really, because, you know, the investor base for a lot of these stocks is pretty small, and if there's problems in one season, people don't forget in the future or whatever, right? So to be keeping things organized and, you know, appropriate goals, not trying to do too much, not overpromising, like, this is good.
I think they've done tremendous job up there at Golden Ridge. The season obviously just ended, like all the rest of the company seasons up there in the Triangle. I think next spring is going to bode extremely well for that company, and like its successor prior to that, GT Gold had a huge discovery the previous fall, summer and fall, and look what it's done this year. So I think Golden Ridge is set up to be following those footsteps.
Well, one of my favorite little quotes is Gareth Thomas at Whitehaven and West Haven, excuse me, made a comment at Metals Investor Forum about the fact that that company had $1 million in treasury, $1.5 million, something like that, and that was a lot for them, and that they were committed, to spending all of that money. Thank you very much. And that company had a $100 million valuation. And so, for people who know junior mining stocks and what can happen, that may seem fair enough. But to people who understand business and financial markets outside of mineral exploration, it might seem puzzling to hear about a company with $1 million cash and no revenue and pledging to spend all of the cash it has, sporting a $100 million valuation relative to that.
Sure. Certainly an interesting and unique situation. Fortunately for us, we've got about 1/3 of our market capitalization today is in cash, which I tend to prefer over the former. However, it all comes back to the people and management and network within, and if you have those things done correctly, I think the access to capital moving forward is really not a challenge.
Yeah, and the numbers in cash and current market cap, ballpark.
24 million shares in existence today, market cap of approximately 7.5 million Canadian dollars, with about just under $2 million in cash.
Is it really that much? Wow. Well, and for a new company, that cash number can go down relatively quickly. There's some extra costs, I gather, in the early days, so people will be watching that for the next quarterly update and stuff.
Of course, I think we've done a good job in maintaining a low monthly burn, and part of the reason for raising a little more money on the IPO was so we wouldn't have to be anywhere for cause for concern. And as I just said prior, the ability to raise more capital is at our fingertips.
Yeah, wonderful. What an interesting situation. And this is your first time in this leadership position, isn't it?
First time from IPO A to Z, where I took a Priveco, built a team, and took it public.
Wow.
I've done a few RTO situations and sat on the boards of other publicly traded companies as president and CEO, but this particular situation is sort of my baby, if you will.
Yeah, and you can impose your power, the power of your will on the situation to a profound degree.
Well, I like to work with the guys that I do work with, including Mike and the other directors. Obviously, we all know each other very well and worked well in the past, so I see this as being a very positive and ongoing future for all of us.
Yeah, certainly. Mr. Morgan Good, thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.